going to show you how to create quizzes on Canvas, and then you can see them in your grade book and keep everything all in the same place. So I'm going to click on my modules, and for next week, week 10, I'm going to be teaching about testing forces. So I'm going to add a quiz. I just want to give them a little pre-assessment on testing forces. So I'm going to say new quiz. Okay, testing forces, pre-assess. I'll say Tuesday, and I like to add the week so that when I see it in my grade book, I know what week I'm looking at. So now every time you add something, it's going to go to the bottom of your screen. So we'll see week 10, testing force, pre-assess, and then we're going to edit our quiz. Okay, in our front of our quiz, we can add directions, we can add a picture, we can say something, we can add a video of ourselves giving instructions. I'm going to embed an image. I'm going to click on Canvas here, click on My Files, and upload a file from my computer. I added some things to my desktop. But if you didn't add things to your desktop, you could click on another thing and then just come right back into it. And then you need to scroll down and say Update, or it's not going to go on there. Okay, you can make this bigger, or you can add some words here of what you want them to do. Okay, do your best. And then we're going to look at some of our options. So we want this to be a practice quiz. We're not going to grade this one, but if I wanted to have a graded quiz, I would just say graded quiz. It would be in my assignments. And then I could say how many points I wanted each question to be worth. Right now, we're just going to keep it as a practice quiz. We can shuffle the answers. We can give them a time limit. We can allow multiple attempts. We can show one question at a time, and then it will lock the questions after they answer it. We can show the correct answers at a certain date, or we can even hide the correct answers at a certain date if we don't want them to be able to access them anymore. And we can assign this quiz to everyone in all of our sections, or just to certain students. We can have it due on a certain day. We can have it available on a certain day. If you know you're going to give this on Tuesday, but you don't want to go back in and have to add this and remember to publish it, you can just add it for Tuesday, and then when you publish it, that's when it will be available to the students. So I'm going to go back up to the top because we didn't actually add any questions yet, and I'm going to click on question. I'm going to click on new question. I could do a new question group where they're going to have a bunch of questions within the same group, or I could find questions. These would be questions that I've given in the past. So any quizzes that I've given, all of my questions are right here. So none of these questions would really work for force, motion, and energy since it's a new unit. So I'm just going to say new question. Okay, so I'm going to say, I like to say question 1 or number 1 or something. You can do multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, fill in multiple blanks, multiple answers. There's so many options, essay question. What I love to do is multiple choice. I've done fill in true and false. When you do fill in the blank, you just need to make sure that you go back and double check their answers, because if you give the option of what the answer is going to be and they don't write it exactly the same way, it'll be counted wrong. And if you give an essay question, you can just go back and read the question and answer for each student, and then you can mark it right or wrong. So for this one, we're going to say, what is a force? I can embed a picture here. I can embed a YouTube video if I wanted to say, watch this video and answer the question below. I can embed an image. What do you see in this picture? I could add anything from my external tools. I could record or upload media. I like to do this when I'm reading to my students, but I will turn off the video and just record me reading the questions or reading a paragraph or whatever they need read. And you can change the font size and make it a little bit more fun. Whatever you want to do. Oh, I think that's confusing looking. Okay, so the same thing with our answers. Now, here is where you change how many points. If you want this to be worth 5 points, you can just change it right there. Now, this is going to be worth 5 points in your grade book. Now, on the answer choices, you have the same options. So if you click on this little pencil, instead of just typing your answer, you can click on the edit button and you can actually add any of these things to your answer. So I'm going to embed an image and I'm going to say my files, upload a file. And I have some choices here. So I'm going to choose this picture. Now this would be a picture that is the correct answer, right? A push or a pull. So I'm going to get rid of the words and I'm just going to have the picture on here. But if I wanted to add words down here, I could add anything that I want exactly like I could at the top. Or I could even record or upload media here if I wanted to tell them something or say something or read the answer choice. And then I'm going to go to the next answer. So if I wanted B to be the right answer, I would just click here and this would be correct. So I'm going to keep this one as the correct answer. On this one, I'm going to say, I'm going to edit it here. I'm going to embed an image. So then they kind of have it a little bit more consistent. All of these are going to be pictures for them to choose what they think is a force. This is a picture of solar energy, which is not a force, it's energy, right? So I could say solar energy if I wanted them to know what that was a picture of. And then I can do another one here. And this is a picture of the states of matter. So then I could say states of matter, click on done, click on update question. This is how you save the question in there. Now I'm going to save and publish this quiz so that I can see it. If you wanted to have a quiz for students that do not need Red 2, and then you wanted to make a duplicate for students that did need Red 2, so it's the ones that don't need Red 2 do not have that option, you can actually click on these 3 dots. You can say copy to, go to your module that you want it in your same week, and you can make a copy, and it'll just copy it right to that week. You can delete from here. You can lock the quiz. You can look at a preview. You can show students their quiz results. None of them have done it because we just made it. Okay, or you can even send it to a team member. If you make an amazing quiz, instead of them having to reinvent the wheel, you can just send it to them. So now we're going to see how would this quiz look for students to make sure that it looks right. So I'm going to click on my home button. I'm going to go to the right and click on student view. And now when the students go in here and they click on their modules, they'll get to see all of the lessons that I have published for them. So they see all of the weeks before, and then they see this week. If we wanted it to be smaller, we could collapse all of them so that they just see the week. I like to keep the ones I'm not using collapsed so they don't take up as much space. So I'm going to go to Tuesday, testing force pre-assess. Says do your best and take the quiz. So this is what it looks like for the student. Question 1, what is a force? A push or pull, solar energy, states of matter. And then we're going to say submit quiz. And it's going to say our current score was a 5 out of 5. And they got it right, which was us. Now, if we wanted to see what that looks like in the grade book, we can leave the student view and we can go to our grade book. And if we wanted to make it easier, we could just click on week 10 so that we're only looking at one thing over here. If we just want to look at one section of students, we could just look at one section of students. Our test student is the only one that has done this. So we're going to go up here and we're going to say speed grader. Oh, that's the, oops. Let's go back into our grades. I clicked on the wrong thing. I do not see our test. All right, I'm going to go to quizzes here and see what did I do. Oh, because it's a practice quiz, it doesn't have a grade. So since it doesn't have a grade, because we made it a practice quiz, it's actually not going to show up in our grade book. So we made a mistake. We're going to go back and edit. And we're going to say that we want this to be a graded quiz. We want to see that in our grade book. We don't want to just have to moderate it and look at it that way. So now we're going to go to SpeedGrader. And now I guess our test student needs to actually take this quiz. But that's basically the way that you would look at it. You can go to SpeedGrader, you can see everyone that's done the quiz, and you can go ahead and grade all of them. If you want to just go look at your quizzes, see, here is the testing right here. There's the test, and that's where it would be here. So if someone got a 0 on this, you can see that it'll actually make their grade over here a little bit smaller because we gave them a 0. But we're going to go back in and we're going to delete this one. Or we can set a default grade if we wanted everyone just to make the same thing. We can curve the grades. We can message students. Let's say they haven't submitted it yet. We can message the ones that haven't submitted it yet, or they haven't been graded. They scored less than what you wanted. They scored more than what you thought. You could give them a little positive note. Whatever you want to do with that. So that is how you make a quiz on Canvas. All of your quizzes will be right here until you're ready to use them, or they'll be in the module that you created them in.